Now, let me say something to those who want to apply for universities in Belgium. Now, if you are one of these people, please listen to me. I'm going to talk about those who are applying for schools in Belgium, then I will talk about Portugal and Austria. If you want to study in Belgium come September, please remember that you have a sponsor who lives and work in Belgium, or you have an uncle or an auntie or a brother or sister who lives and work in Belgium, because at the end of the day, you will either need a document called affidavit of support, or you have your own money or your family have money that they are going to give you to do what we call a blocked account. That is the first option for those who want to study in Belgium, because you either need a blocked account or you are going to be doing what we call affidavit of support to apply for your Belgian student visa. I would not advise you to get affidavit of support from somebody who is not your relative. This is my advice number one. Point number two, if you are going to be applying to a school in Belgium, please try and make sure that you have IELTS. The reason is simple. Some schools in Belgium might give you an offer letter, and at the end of the day, the embassy might want to know if you actually have that IELTS. They may not tell you, but trust me, this is one of the requirements. So try to verify if the university does not really need this document. This is what I can tell you for now, and please do not forget. Now, dear Nigerians, those of you applying for bachelors in Belgium, remember, Belgian universities don't accept NECO. They accept WAEC and the scratch card. They don't accept NECO. Moving further, this goes to those who are going to be applying to Ghent University. Ghent University can only assess your application or look at it when you have done two things. One, pay the application fee. Two, submit legalized documents. I have a lot of videos on the channel explaining this procedure on how you can legalize your documents before you apply to Ghent University. Most especially, do not forget this. It is very important. Now, I also want you to understand that in as much as maybe some university in Belgium will not ask you for English proficiency, do not, I repeat, do not apply to any program that is not related to your bachelor's degree. Now, let me take it again. Why do I have to say so? Most people, sometimes when they have a bachelor's degree in economics, before you know, they are now applying for a bachelor's in human resource management, a master's in human resource management. Sometimes you see somebody with a bachelor's in literature, the person is now threatening to apply to maybe a master's in finance. It doesn't work that way. What you did at bachelor's level should be what you are going in for at master's level, especially with Belgium, because they are going to say, the visa officer is going to tell you that there is no correlation or no relation between what you did at bachelor's and what you are going to study for master's. And in this case, if you are not very careful, that is all about the application. Their visa will be rejected. I know 3 people who got this same issue, and now they are still struggling to move again. So you have to be very watchful. You have to be careful with how you take programs. Some countries and some universities, they don't really think about this, okay? They don't care about it. But again, this is for Belgium, like I said. Now let's go to the info about Portugal. For Portugal, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and the person was telling me, Milton, somebody told me that I should apply to a school in Portugal. Then I'm also thinking of applying to Austria. What do you think? Now, let me say this here. And if you like, do your own research. Remember, I always say it is always good for you to do your own personal research so you actually understand what is even going to happen to the application you are struggling to make. Because I was checking something today and I realized that many people do not actually know what they should be doing. For you to actually get a school to study in Portugal and Austria, there is a procedure you need to do. Or let me say there is a procedure for that. Now, the first thing I always recommend, both of them have almost something similar, but with Portugal, you do not need to do what they call verification. After authenticating your documents at the various ministries, you can then go directly and apply for legalization. But with Austria, after authenticating the documents, you have to do verification before legalization, especially for Cameroonians, my people from Cameroon and Ghana. The reason why I'm quoting you is because the Austrian embassy is in Abuja or is in Nigeria. And now you are going to be using a VFS Global. If you check the Austrian embassy's website, you are going to see this information I'm telling you. It's not today all of this happened. This has been for a very long time. Now, take this advice and take it very seriously. Do not waste time with your application. If you do, you might have issues with appointments. Point number one, check your documents, do the various legalization procedure. If you are not willing to do the job, if you are not willing to go through the hurdles, because some people are like, oh, Milton, the procedure is hard. Of course, nothing is easy anymore. If you are complaining that the procedure is hard, it means you can't apply to Slovakia, Bulgaria, and maybe Czech Republic, right? So you have to input the work, like add some energy. Go down and do it. This thing is not for the weak. You must do it. Take your documents if you are in Portugal because probably you want to pay tuition in installment. Take your documents, go to the ministries, follow my videos, listen to what I said, do the legalization. Then when you are done, you book a call with the Portuguese embassy or appointment or whatever. You take your documents to them. When they finish with it, they will now give you back. You begin your application. Now, when you get admission, it might take you 2 or 3 months. But of course, trust me, the best thing to do, you also need to know the school you want to apply to, when the application is going to end, and what is required of you. Because many people do not actually understand how these things work. Please always remember that Milton said you have to follow the procedure well. Do not make errors. Now, check the requirements for the school, the program you want to study. Then also check how you are going to do the application. Then know all these details before you proceed. If you think the deadline is closer and you can't meet it, forget about the school. But by now, you should already know what you are going to be doing. I have been singing this thing since November, December. So my last advice, legalize your documents before you apply to schools in Portugal. Otherwise, you might use it to apply to some schools that do not require maybe the legalized documents or do not require you to do legalization. And at the end of the day, you might end up not getting the admission. Even if you get admission, you might end up not getting visa appointment because now when you get admission, you have to move back to get appointments for legalization, do legalization, then visa. Well, I think at this stage, you need to do what you think is going to help you. I am just a messenger. Thank you. Now, let's go to the other country. This country is a very cheap one, and I'm talking about Austria. What do you need to know about Austria? Remember, if you are talking about top destinations to study in Europe, you shouldn't be leaving Austria aside. One of the main issues internationals have is that most people tend to say, oh, Milton, I do not have proof of funds to study in Austria, but trust me on this. Austria is actually a good country. And if you look at the transportation system, I'm in the Netherlands. I haven't gone to Austria yet, but hopefully I will be in Austria next year. Now, the main reason I'm talking about Austria is because I realize that Austria, Switzerland, they are very cheap countries. But there is something you need to do. The procedure to apply for the schools. I have talked about this procedure before: authentication, verification, and legalization. Check my videos, then listen to them. Everything you need to know is in those videos, right? The channel is here. You can check my channel very well. Check. It's your duty to do some work, okay? Because Milton can only bring material, but I cannot force you to gain the material or to get it into your head. So please listen to videos. If you think my video is not the best, check other YouTubers. I'm not the only one doing this. Not so. No. But the error or the mistakes you are going to make is that you will say that, oh, I want to apply for a school in Austria without my documents being legalized. Bro, you will just be wasting your time. This is perfect truth or just the truth I'm telling you. Make sure you do this process. And remember, this process takes at least 3 to 4 months. Now, this is January. If you start the process now, you need to do January, February, March, April, let's just say May. You will still have schools that are open in Austria. But the problem is, are you sure you are going to get these documents by May? That is question number 1, right? Question number 2. Now, when you get the documents by May, how are you sure that you are going to meet up with the deadline? Well, maybe you should have checked the deadline before doing the documentation. But again, one big issue with Austria is appointment dates. appointments to legalize the documents, and of course, appointment for visa. Things are getting hard, things are getting tedious, things are getting technical. So if you want to do anything when it comes to visa application, start as fast as possible. One last advice I will give to you: Austria is very cheap country, right? For sure, with 720 euros, maybe less than 800 euros, you can pay tuition fee per semester in Austria, and equally you can pay the semester contribution, right? And again, the visa procedure looks somehow very straightforward because of course when you have the money, you are good to go. With your proper documents arranged, with the visa, with proof of funds, you are good to go. In as much as you show immigration that you have some money to actually take care of yourself, you do not have a big problem. As I know, one of the things you need to know is the proof of funds. Proof of funds to Austria is not the same for people who are under 23 and for those who are above 23 years. If you are under 23, your own amount is different. If you are above 24 years, I think 23, 24 years, your own amount is different. So check those videos I did about proof of funds. Check those videos I did about requirements to study in Austria, and you watch the video.